Hello students, good evening. I am Ornangshu Sarkar and you are watching my YouTube channel Physics Tutorial with Ornangshu Sarkar. And we are in a series of classes in electrostatics and we will continue after the class whatever we have done in the previous video. Actually we are doing the electric field for a dipole. In the previous video we have discussed about the electric field for dipole in various positions in axial and equatorial positions. And today we'll start just after that. And today what are the agendas that we will discuss during our video is number 1, torque on a dipole. Number 2, torque on a dipole in uniform electric field. Number 2, dipole in non-uniform field. Then dipole work done to rotate a dipole. And potential energy stored inside a dipole. So that is our agendas for this video, and we shall start from the very beginning. Torque on a dipole placed in a uniform electric field. While starting that, we have to discuss what do we mean by uniform electric field. So let us start with torque acting on a dipole placed in uniform electric field. Now, what do we mean by uniform electric field? And I guess you all know what is torque. In class 11 you have learned torque. Uniform electric field means a region where electric field intensity is uniform. Electric field intensity is constant. This region is called uniform electric field. Now, afterward, just after these videos and another video having the continuous charge distribution, after that, we will do a video or we will do a class on lines of forces. Electric field and electric lines of forces. Actually, these lines of force, the concept of lines of force is also required for this for depicting this uniform electric field. So, in a nutshell, I am giving you just a bit of idea right now, and afterward we will obviously discuss it in a elaborate or in a very detailed way. So now, for now, just you keep in your mind that any field, be it electric field, be it gravitational field, any field of non-contact forces can be depicted, can be represented by its lines of forces. Just like magnetic lines of forces you have learned in class 10 or class 9, magnetic lines of forces. Whenever you placed a bar magnet and put some iron filings around it, then strike the page, you will see that the iron filing will arrange in such a way, such a manner. You have seen that? And these lines are actually called magnetic lines of forces. In case of electric field also, we can have such lines. These are not actual lines, but we can assume that a charge, a positive charge, when it produces a field around it in 3D region, it attracts another test charge, it exerts certain force on test charge, and the direction in which it exerts its force to the test charge is depicted by a line. That virtual line is called lines of force. So for an isolated positive charge, if you place another test charge is obviously unit positive charge, it will get a repulsion and it will go to the infinity along the straight line. Hence, the lines of force will be radially outward. For a negative charge, it is radially inward, coming from infinity. So these are the lines of forces. Lines of forces are actually the line along which any charge exerts force to another charge. That means whenever you have an electric field, that electric field is produced by certain amount of source charge, be it positive, be it negative. That source charge will exert force to the test charge, and that the direction of the force in various position can be joined by a single line. If they are joined by a single line, all the vectors, all the force vectors, if they are joined by a single line, then that line will be called electric lines of forces. Or else we can also define it like that. If you place a free positive charge and let it to move, if you place any free positive charge in any position of the field and let it to move freely, it will obviously follow the path. The path will be along the lines of forces, or the path of the free positive charge is itself will be called electric lines of forces. Now, why do we require this concept of electric lines of forces? Because an uniform electric field, we have to represent that uniform electric field by the lines of forces. When the electric field is uniform, then the lines of forces will be parallel to each other. So, an uniform electric field is depicted or represented by parallel lines of forces, and the direction of the electric field is of course starting from the positive towards the negative. As we have seen, for a single isolated positive charge, the lines are radially outward. The lines are radially outward, which indicates that all the lines of forces that starts from the positive charge. So lines of forces always starts from the positive charge and it moves towards the negative charge. Now we have to place a dipole inside that field. Okay, let us place a dipole here. Suppose arbitrarily we are placing the dipole like that. Say this is minus q charge and that is plus q charge. Say this point, we can name that point, we'll name it later. Okay, fine. This is the dipole. Now if this is the dipole, we know already that the length of the dipole is taken to L. So this is 2L. And the dipole moment vector dipole moment vector, which is represented by P, from definition it is value 2ql. Why 2? Because this length 2l. That means one of the charges of the dipole multiplied by the total length of the dipole is called dipole moment. That is the magnitude of the dipole moment, and the direction of the dipole moment is always from negative towards the positive. So this is the direction of the dipole moment. Now if it is the dipole, the direction of dipole moment is from negative to positive. This is the direction of the dipole moment. Say the dipole is placed in such a way that the direction of the dipole moment and the direction of the electric field, this is the direction of the electric field, they make an angle theta. Now, what will happen? What will happen on the to the dipole? A charge is placed inside an electric field. Obviously, the charge will receive certain force. Now, what will be the magnitude and the direction of the force? We all know that Coulomb force F and electric field E is related by the formula or by the equation Q equal to F equal to QE. Q is the charge. So if we multiply the electric field, which is actually the force on a unit positive charge, by the amount of charge, we will get the total force. Hence, the charge on the positive, the force on the positive charge will be QE, and of course, the positive charge will be attracted towards the negative direction. So, QE is the amount of force that is acting on the positive charge in the direction of the field, and the same charge, the same force will act on the negative charge also, but here the direction of the force will be exactly opposite to the field because the negative charge is attracted towards the positive end. So what we can see, there are equal and opposite forces acting on the dipole when the dipole is placed inside an uniform electric field. So it is a very important thing to remember that when a dipole is placed inside uniform electric field, then net force on it is 0 as it experiences equal and opposite forces. As it experiences equal and opposite forces. So, due to these equal and opposite forces, net force F net is 0. But you can see the direction, the line of action of the force. The line of action of the force are not same. Instead, they are parallel. Although two equal and opposite forces are acting on the dipole, but the line of action of the forces are not same, but they are parallel. So when such thing happens to equal and opposite forces which acts on a body, along two different line of action, which are parallel to each other then they produce a torque. Then they produce a couple, and due to that couple a torque acts on the body. You know, whenever a equal and opposite forces is acting on a particular body, suppose these are two forces, one is downward, one is upward forces acting on a body along a single or along a same line of action, then the total force is zero, net force is zero, it will not move and it will not rotate also. But if we change the line of action of the force and make it parallel to each other, what will happen? It will not make any translational motion, but it will tend to rotate. It will tend to rotate because of that couple. Now, as the net force is zero, the outcome is, due to the zero net force, outcome is no translational motion of the torque. Hence, no translational motion. Of the dipole. But as you can see, a couple is produced within that dipole due to the two equal and opposite forces acting on parallel line of action. Hence, a torque is created, or a torque acts on the dipole, which tend to rotate it. Now, we will find what is the amount of torque that is produced inside the dipole. So, let us find the amount of torque that is produced inside the dipole. Okay, let us find the amount of torque acting on the dipole. You can remember the definition of torque. It was taught in class 11. What was that? The definition of torque says torque is equal to the product of one of the forces of the couple multiplied by the perpendicular distance between them. One of the forces of the couple multiplied by the perpendicular distance between them. Now, what is the perpendicular distance between the two lines of action? That is the perpendicular distance. You can see this is the perpendicular distance between the two lines of action, and one of the force is QE. So let us name it, say A, B, C is a triangle. If this angle is theta, then this angle is also theta, and hence one of the forces of the dipole, what is one of the forces of the dipole? That is QE. QE multiplied by perpendicular distance means BC. Now what is BC? from this perpendicular, from this right angle triangle, it is a perpendicular and this is a hypotenuse. So you can write it is AC sin theta. So QE torque is equals to QE into AC sin theta. Now what is AC? AC is 2L. So QE into 2L sin theta. We can write it 2QL into E sin theta, or PE sin theta. We know P is dipole moment and the dipole moment is given by 2QL. So the torque magnitudically it is equals to PE sin theta. This is the amount of torque. Now we all know how to find the direction of the torque. To find the direction of the torque, we need to use the right hand corkscrew rule. If we see what will happen, this force, it will tend the dipole to rotate in the clockwise direction, because the force is like that, it is pulling it in this direction, it is pulling it in the opposite direction, so it will rotate just like that. Hence, it's a clockwise torque. Now, a clockwise torque, when it is a clockwise torque, then we have to use the thumb rule. We have to curl our finger in the direction of the rotation of the body, and the thumb will indicate the direction of the torque. So you can see, when the body rotates in the clockwise direction, the direction of the torque is pointing into the page. The direction of the torque can also be calculated from the cross product of P and E. You can see, if you find the cross product, the direction of the cross product of the vector dipole moment at the electric field, you can remember how to find the direction of the product vector in case of cross product. That was used, that was Maxwell's right hand corkscrew rule or thumb rule. So if you rotate a screw from P to end, and the tip of the screw will advance in the direction in the product vector, and here also the direction indicates pointing into the page. So the direction of the cross product P and E is actually giving the direction of the torque. So we can write the vector form of the torque like that: torque is equals to P cross E. So how to find the direction of the torque? I am repeating this. First we have to see how the dipole is rotating. The dipole was initially in this direction and it will tend to rotate like that. And how far it will rotate? It will rotate up to this. It will rotate up to this. Because after that the forces will be parallel. And when the forces are parallel, then the torque will be zero. You know, torque is zero when the forces are parallel. So it will rotate up to this and become parallel to the electric field. So when a dipole is placed in a uniform electric field, the dipole tends to align itself in the direction of the field. By rotating, it will tend to align in the direction of the field by rotating. And while it rotates, a torque, why it rotates? It rotates due to a torque, and the torque is of course a clockwise torque, because it produces a clockwise rotation. And as we know how to find the direction of the clockwise torque, to find the direction of the clockwise torque we have to find, or to find the direction of any torque, we have to use the thumb rule. We have to curl our finger in the direction of the rotation of the body, and the thumb will indicate the direction of the torque. As the dipole is rotating in a clockwise direction, so we will curl our finger in the clockwise direction, and the thumb will indicate the direction of the torque, and that will be pointing into the board in this case. This particular direction can also be found by cross producting P and E. As we know, the direction of the cross product or the product vector can be found by using Maxwell's right hand corkscrew rule, where it says, or thumb rule, where it says, if we rotate a screw from P to E, that means in the clockwise direction, then the direction of the product vector will be in the direction of the advancement of the screw, and here the direction of the advancement of the screw is pointing into the page, which resembles with the direction of the torque. Hence, we can see both having the same direction. So P cross E can be used if we write this PE sin theta because by definition cross product A cross B is AB sin theta. So if we write it P cross E, then the direction also matches with the direction of the torque. Hence, the vector form of the torque can be written as P cross E. So this is what happens when a dipole is placed inside an uniform electric field. Inside an uniform electric field, it will not do any translational motion because no force, the net force on the dipole becomes zero as the two forces are equal and opposite, but it will rotate, and it will rotate until it becomes parallel to the field. Hence, the dipole tends to align itself, or the dipole moment will tend to align itself in the direction of the field. And this particular direction and this particular alignment is the equilibrium position of the dipole. Do you know what do you mean by equilibrium position? Equilibrium position means that position where any system wants to be. Any system wants to be in such a position where its potential energy is minimum. So, from this concept, we can also say this is the direction where the potential energy of the dipole is minimum. So, if the dipole can align itself in the direction of the field, it will have minimum potential energy. So, where will be its maximum potential? Exactly opposite. If we reverse it, make it anti-parallel to the field, it will have maximum potential energy within it. So, where will be the standard or zero potential energy? Of course, from symmetry, you can understand the standard position or the zero potential energy will be perpendicular to the field. Now, if the maximum and minimum torque has to be found from this equation or that equation, we can easily say maximum torque can be found, torque max can be found where theta is 90 degree, PE sin 90 degree, theta is 90 degree. Now what do we mean by theta is 90 degree? We mean that the dipole is actually here perpendicular to the field. When the dipole is placed perpendicular to the field, it will experience maximum torque on it. And when it will be minimum, torque minimum will be PE sin 0 degree. That means theta equal to 0 degree. Theta equal to 0 degree means here the dipole is actually parallel to the electric field. When the dipole is placed in such a way that it is parallel to the electric field, then it will experience the minimum torque, zero torque. It will not tend to rotate anymore because it is the minimum potential energy position. That is the equilibrium position for a dipole. So, what we can see here, it is the maximum torque position, but that is not the maximum potential energy position. Maximum potential energy position is anti-parallel to the field. It is the minimum potential energy position because it is the equilibrium position here, and here also the torque is minimum, and it is the standard position that is perpendicular to the field. It will experience the maximum torque right there, and it will not experience any force to have translational motion. So this is all about when you put a dipole inside an uniform electric field. Now let us place it in a non-uniform electric field and find what happens. Now, what do we mean by non-uniform electric field? Non-uniform electric field means where the intensity of the electric field varies point by point. Say it can gradually increase or gradually decrease. Obviously, electric field gradually decreases as we go further from the source charge, and in most of the cases we have non-uniform electric field. So if we place a unit positive charge or any positive charge inside in 3D space, and we will have an electric field which is gradually decreasing, that means it is non-uniform electric field. So in case of non-uniform electric field, what happens to a dipole? Let us see. So I am erasing this board. Okay, let's see what happened when dipole placed in non-uniform field. See, electric field is a sole function of position vector. So any electric field can be written as E is a function of R. Hence, it will obviously experience that torque, because torque will always be there, because a dipole has two opposite charges. Hence, the torque can be written as P cross E of R. E of R means the electric field is a function of that position vector. That will be the torque, and torque will be just like the previous, and the direction will be found from the cross product. But here we will discuss two special cases when the torque is placed parallel to the, when the dipole is placed parallel to the field and anti-parallel to the field. Number one, dipole is parallel to the field. Then what will happen? Let's see. Suppose this is the direction of the electric field and this is the direction of increasing electric field. That means the electric field is increasing in that direction. It is increasing in that direction. Now, the dipole is placed in such a way, that is, the dipole moment is parallel to the field. The dipole moment is parallel to the field means the dipole is parallel to the field. If it's so, we know the direction of the electric field is always from positive to the negative, and the direction of the dipole moment is always negative to the positive. So this negative charge will be attracted in this direction, the positive charge is attracted to that direction. But this attraction will be greater as the strength of the electric field is greater here, and this attraction is a bit smaller than that because the strength of the electric field is less in this direction. So there are two forces. It is a positive and a negative. And due to these two unequal and opposite forces, the net force will be in this direction of the greater force, and hence we see the dipole will ultimately experience a force in the direction of the field. So what we can see is the dipole will be drifted or have a translational motion in the direction of the field. The dipole will move in the direction of the field when it is placed parallel to the field. Now, if we place it anti-parallel to the field, dipole is anti-parallel to the field. When the dipole is anti-parallel to the field, what will happen? Say, this is the direction of the electric field and this is the direction of the increasing electric field. Electric field increases in this direction, gradually increases in this direction. So if this is the direction of the increasing electric field and the dipole is placed just opposite to it, just anti-parallel to it, that means the positive charge is in this direction, negative charge is opposite direction. What will be the direction of the forces that will experience? It is a positive and this is the negative. Here is the positive repulsion and negative repulsion is there. So the repulsion, as the strength is lower, the strength of the electric field is lower, the repulsion is also lower in this direction, and here due to greater electric field there is a greater repulsion on the negative charges. Hence there are also two unequal opposite forces acting on the dipole, and the net force will be in the direction of the greater force. Of course, it is opposite to the applied field. So what will happen? The dipole will tend to move opposite to the direction of the applied field. The dipole will tend to move opposite to the direction of field. Now, in order to reduce the complicacy, you can just remember like that: the direction of the dipole moment is the direction of the movement of the dipole. What is the direction of the dipole moment? In this direction, the direction of the field, and here it is the direction opposite to the field. So the direction of the dipole moment is always the direction of the moment of the dipole placed in non-uniform field. So in a non-uniform field, if any dipole is placed, it will simultaneously experience a torque and a net force. Due to torque, it will tend to rotate, and due to net force, it will tend to move in the direction of the dipole moment. So this is all about when the dipole is placed inside a non-uniform electric field. Now moving to the next part of our video. So work done in rotating from angular position θ1 to θ2 for a dipole. Let the dipole is rotated by a small amount d theta, and to rotate a dipole by small angle d theta, the amount of work done will be dw, and we know rotational work done is tau d theta. Now we have to integrate this. In order to find the amount of total work done. Let the initial position was θ1. That means the dipole was placed at an angle θ1 with the electric field. Say this is θ1, and then it is rotated to another angle. So this angle is θ2. This is the initial angle, initial position. This is the final position. This is the amount of total drift or total rotation of the dipole. Let the initial position was θ1 and final position or final angle, actually this is the angle, is θ2. Now angle means angle between the dipole moment and the electric field. This θ1 and θ2 are obviously the angle between dipole moment and electric field. Initial position and final position. So what will be the total amount of work done? Work done will be from θ1 to θ2, tau d theta. Now what is tau? Tau is Pe sin theta. P and E both are constant. Pe θ1 to θ2 sin theta d theta. That means PE cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. Sorry, cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2. As when we integrate sin theta, we will get minus cos theta, and for that minus sign, the limit has changed from initial to final. So theta 1 minus theta 2. So this is the amount of work done in general when we rotate a dipole from an angle theta 1 to an angle theta 2. Now for a special case, if initially the dipole was placed along the electric field and then it is turned by at an angle. Suppose the dipole was initially placed like that, which is parallel to the electric field. That means theta 1, initially theta 1 is 0, and then it is rotated by an angle, say theta. This is the final position. If this is the final position, then what will be the amount of work done? The work done to rotate a dipole from theta equals to 0 to theta 2 equals to theta 1 equals to 0 to theta 2 equal to theta will be PE 1 minus cos theta, as cos 0 degree is 1. So this is the amount of work done when we rotate a dipole from its equilibrium position to any other given position. This is the amount of work done. If we turn a dipole by an amount theta from its equilibrium position, it will happen, the amount of work done will be this. So this is the amount of work done that we have found. Now in different position we can have special cases. Let us see the special cases. The amount of work done in different positions of dipole. When the dipole is parallel to the field, when the dipole is perpendicular to the field, and when the dipole is anti-parallel to the field. These are the direction of dipoles. The dipoles are represented by black arrows, and the electric field are represented by the blue arrows. Let us write the amount of thetas. For here theta is equals to 0 degree, here theta is equals to 90 degree, and here theta is equals to 180 degree. This is the electric field, and this is all electric field, and these are P. Okay, these are the direction of P. So what is the amount of work done here? Here work done, you can see, put 0 and you will have the minimum work done, that is work done is 0. Here the work done is 0. Put here theta is equals to 90 degree, the work done will be PE. Put here theta equals to 180 degree and the work done will be 2PE. Okay. Now it is the minimum work done, it is the maximum work done. Simultaneously we can write also the torque. Torque here is also minimum. Torque here is also minimum 0, and here torque is maximum. The torque is PE. PE sin theta means PE, and here also torque is minimum. Here torque is 0 because cosine 180 degree is also 0. So in these two positions where the potential is minimum and maximum, where the work done is minimum and maximum, the torque is 0, and where the work done is PE, the torque is also PE, and it has a maximum value. So this is about the work done when we rotate a dipole inside an electric field, uniform electric field. Now the last part of this video we will learn what is the amount of potential energy stored inside the dipole. Potential energy stored inside the dipole when it is rotated by an angle theta. Potential energy stored inside a dipole. Now, from the definition, the potential energy of a dipole is actually the amount of work done that is stored within the dipole when the dipole is rotated from its initial position theta equals to 90 degree to any given angle theta. Okay, so the amount of potential energy is the amount of work done. Potential energy is written by U. The amount of potential energy is given by the work done by rotating the dipole from initial position theta equals to 90 degree to any given theta. That means W theta minus W 90 degree. Work done to rotate a dipole from perpendicular to the field to any given direction. So if we write W theta, we know what is W theta, that is PE 1 minus cos theta. And what is W90? W90 is PE. So what will come? The potential energy of the dipole will come minus PE cos theta. We can write it P dot E, because dot product minus P dot E, dot product means PE cos theta. So this is the amount of potential energy stored inside the dipole, PE cos theta minus PE cos theta, or P dot E. Hence we can see minimum potential energy at minimum potential energy U minimum when theta is equals to 90 degree, PE equal to 0. Maximum potential energy, minimum potential energy is minus PE when theta is equals to 0 degree. Maximum potential energy when theta is equals to 180 degree, that is PE, theta equals to 180 degree. And another potential energy is theta is equals to 90 degree, and that will be 0. Here 0 is not the minimum value, the minimum value is this, minus PE, and maximum value is plus PE, and 0 is intermediate any value. So we have chosen 0, that means theta equals to 90 degree, theta is equals to 90 degree at standard position. That is why we have said when we have rotated any dipole from theta is equals to 90 degree to any other position, any other angle theta, then the amount of work done stored inside the dipole is called the potential energy stored inside the dipole. So that was the amount of potential energy, and this can be represented in a graphical representation. If we plot the graph of potential energy with angles, what will come? You can see that this is the potential energy and this is the theta. This is theta, and it is potential energy positive and potential energy negative. This is positive and negative potential energy. So if we write the angles 90 degree here, and it is 180 degree, it is 0 degree. For 0 degree, the potential energy is minimum. Say this is minimum value of potential energy minus PE. Say this is the positive value of potential energy plus PE. Okay, writing it. Plus PE. So the potential energy will be just like this. Potential energy is 0 at 90 degree, minimum at 0 degree, and maximum at 180 degree. That means this represents potential energy minimum, represents stable equilibrium. This represents unstable equilibrium. But both of them are equilibrium. What does it mean? It means if the dipole is initially aligned along the electric field, and if we try to disturb it by rotating certain angle, it will again get aligned with the electric field, because this is its stable equilibrium. Now if the electric field is if the dipole is placed just anti-parallel to the electric field, and we have disturbed the electric field, we have disturbed the dipole by tilting it, it will not come back to its initial position. Instead, it will just rotate and be aligned with the minimum potential energy or equilibrium position, that is theta equal to 0 degree. And unstable equilibrium and this U90 degree means the maximum torque, and here the potential energy will, here the dipole will not align, it will just tend to rotate in the direction of the electric field. So this is all about today's class, and I am ending up here this class, and in the next class we will learn the continuous charge distribution. Thank you.